This is Bold TV.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode on Bold Hearts TV. Beautiful, outstanding ladies with disabilities will come to you every Saturday of every week, and we always talk about issues on lifestyle, health, concerning women and girls with disabilities around the world. With me in the studio, I have, I will allow my guests to introduce themselves, and I'll start by introducing myself first. And we have slots for sponsorship. You can reach out to Osaki, Preki, or Afyong for sponsorship. Always follow us on our Facebook handles, our social media handles that will be displayed on the screen. So for today, my name is Constance Nyemachi, the CEO of Women and Girls with Albinism Network, a member of Bold Heart Initiative, and I'm happy to be here once again. I'll allow my other co-hosts to introduce themselves. Osaki, over to you, please.
All right, thank you, Constance. Good morning, ladies. Good morning, viewers. I'm Osaki Teresa Jodri. I reside in Port Harcourt, Rivers State, polio warrior, work with Fair Care Foundation, member of Bold Heart Initiative, and a disability rights advocate. Thank you very much. Glad to be here.
Thank you very much, Asaki. The next co-host should also go ahead to introduce herself. Thank you.
Okay, good morning, everyone. My name is Afyong. I'm a member of Bold Heart Initiative, medical lab scientist based in New York. I'm also, I use a wheelchair for spinal cord injury. It's good to be here.
Thank you very much, Afyong. So our viewers, our topic for today is a very technical one, and we've decided to talk about this because sometimes it's always not so rosy, and who must have been facing challenges along the way. So our topic for today is failure. I know it's by the name it sounds quite depressing, but as humans we must have failed at one thing or the other, and we are not perfect. So I'll start by asking my colleagues what they understand by failure, and then also share a brief story on what one incident on something they must have done and failed at. I think I'll start with myself. So for me, I think failure is I won't use the dictionary definition, but I'll say that failure is when you try something and it doesn't work out the way you expect it to be. My own story on what I've done and failed at is one time I started something actually, and decided to bring some of my friends on board, and I had the vision, I had the way I wanted it to look like from the beginning to the end. But then in the long run, I discovered that we veered off what was expected of us, what the outcome should have been, and we became very unserious and lost focus. So to me, I failed at that thing. I had the vision, I had everything all planned out, but at the end it didn't work out that way, and then I had to stop. And that is my own story on something I have done and failed at. So I'll pass the baton to Afyong. Afyong, please tell us briefly what you understand by failure and a little story on something you have tried and failed at. Thank you.
Okay, for me, failure over time, my own understanding and definition of failure has changed over time. Before now, failure for me was, not being able to achieve whatever I had set my heart to, or my mind on to do. And or if maybe, like you said, it didn't go the way I wanted it to go, I would feel bad. I would more often than not give up. But more recently, I've come to understand that failure is a necessary part of everyone's success story. So for me, failure is feedback, because without it, you will not know what you're doing wrong. Without it, you will not know, sometimes you may not even know how to make the next step better. So that's failure for me. Now I've learned to embrace it and, use it to help me move forward better and find better solutions. I think throughout this disability journey, there've been a lot of, failures. It's been like a start and stop thing. You start something, you discover that you need to learn something, you make mistakes along the way, and then, finally you get it right and you move on. Then the next challenge comes. So for me, the entirety of the disability journey I've been on, failure has been part of it. It has been a constant part of that journey. So learning how to do things differently, that has been not been an easy thing, but I have learned through the mistake.
Thank you very much, Afyong. Thank you for sharing. Osaki, please share with us your story on what you've tried and failed and what you understand by failure.
All right, thank you, Constance. Failure for me, it's continuous learning. I see failure as something that is a process, as in it's part of how, like what Afyong say, part of life, it's part of learning. So I've had a lot of challenges, a lot of things I've done, I've wished to do, and I failed. But the one good thing is that I hardly give up, I hardly stop. So I'll call failure is like a pause, a comma in a sentence whereby you do it and you stop and you continue. I've never seen failure as a full stop, because it's something that, let me keep trying, let me just try again, I get it right. So failure for me is continuity. Like I've had a lot of projects I want to do or I've started, like for example, computer programming. And I've loved the coding all through my life, and I have tried it. I haven't got a certificate too, but continue with the coding along the line. I stopped. I tried another one again. I tried, I think, sign language learning. I'll do halfway, I will stop. So the last one that really, really happened to me when I was trying to learn website designing, I tried again. But finally, I happened to got into one of the trainings and I signed up again. And this time, I think I finished it. But I'm not still perfect, but I've said that I cannot stop, but it's something that is a desire I've always wanted to do. But because of circumstance or whatever reason that will make me stop. For me, failure is a process of learning and it's part of life. As long as you don't stop, you just continue the activity till you get to the level you want to be. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Saki. I like the part you said, continuous learning and making sure you don't stop, you don't give up. I like that, and I believe that when we share our stories out there as we are doing right now, it should encourage someone who thinks that it's all rosy and being failing at something means you're not good at it. We're trying to let you know that when you fail at something, doesn't mean you're not good at it. It just requires consistency and persistence. Okay, so I want to also ask, we've had the story of what we've done and failed at, but at the end, how are we able to turn the failure into success? And that is what is intriguing to me. So Osaki, how were you able to turn your you stopped coding at some point and you wanted to, but how were you able to re-strategize and turn that failure into a success?
Okay. I think I did more of resilience pattern, because when I realized, when I checked, like, how come you started this stuff and you didn't finish? I'm like, well, could this be failure? And I said, what is it? So I try again, but this time not in the coding area. Though it's a desire I still want, I went back to the drawing board, because I think if you happen to start up something and you couldn't finish it, just go to the drawing board and see the track where you missed and check what was the thing I would have wanted to do that I didn't do, that, so I can complete that particular project or whatever target I have given myself. So I think resilience is one thing that keep pushing me. And two, I don't like I'm still a person that I don't like stopping at a particular level. If I say I want to do, I use it fully. Like I've always been from one job to another, trying to see if I can stand on my own, because at the end of the day, I have to still stand on my own to complete my own life goal. So I don't like you work somewhere like, I'm not ready for this. So I'll go back into work and I'll work again. I'll check the, am I ready to stand on my own? So it's that up and on. But finally, what happens is that it gives me strength to still want to push. I've never really had it in a way that I just say, let me stop. So that resilient spirit and the desire that I look, the outcome of what I want to get is what is the driving force for me that keeps on making me to want to go back, and I will try, go back and I'll try. And all the front and back push is what really, really helped me. Finally, I could see that, okay, this is what I want. Like now, I'm still on that class again, still within the computer sector. So it's like digital, but they are all linking together. So if you are good at one, somehow you can maneuver, to the other area. So I'm trying to look at what would be more easier that I can establish more. Like now, I'm going to do the digital learning, like data analysis and all the rest, which has one or two interests that you can just say, let me attach coding to it. It's all within the computer sector. So it's not an extra, it's not something outside, but it's within the scope of what I want to do at the end of the day. So I think I'm on the right track, and I'm more stable now, and I'm more balanced, and I'm ready now to learn and to finish up all I want to get.
Thank you very much, Asaki. She mentioned going back to the drawing board. So when you fail at something, go back to the drawing board, know why you started. And, from looking at the drawing board, you can retrace your steps and correct that mistake. Thank you very much, Asaki, for sharing. Afyong, how were you able to turn failure into success?
Anyway, like both said, when you talk about going back to the drawing board, I mean, there must have been, you must have had a goal at the beginning. So first and foremost, I would say, understand why you want to do whatever it is you want to, because that's one thing that will keep you going when you feel like continuing. When you just you get to a point and then you're like, I don't want to do this thing, I'm tired. You will remember why. When you remember why you started in the first place, it will keep you going. And then another thing I would say is that don't see failure as a destination. See it as part of a process. Because when you see failure as a destination, it's difficult to go back, to get back up. because you'll be like, okay, I failed at this thing. There's no point going on. There's no point wasting my time. But if you see it as a tool in the process towards achieving your goal, it makes it easier for you to be able to, stop. You realize that it's like, going on a journey, a long distance journey. It's like, that stop to get food, that stop to, that rest stop to get, ease yourself. That's what failure should be. It should be a tool on your journey towards achieving your goal. So first and foremost, you should have a goal. Let it be clearly defined. Know why you are doing what you are doing before you start. If there is no, strong motivation for doing what you're doing, then it's best not to start, because at some point you may not see the need to continue. When life happens or something comes up, you may not see the need to continue. When you make mistakes, you may not see the need to continue. So know your why, and then secondly, understand that failure is just a tool. Failure is feedback. That is, it's a way of, for those of us like in the lab, when we work on samples, we analyze, carry out analysis. There is something we call quality control. There is something we have standards, we have controls. Those substances that we run alongside the test tell you that it helps you. If something happens, something goes wrong, they will be affected. Those ones have a fixed value, so you can easily detect if something has gone wrong. And it tells you either that your process is good, your method is good, or that there's something wrong. You need to go retrace your steps and probably start all over again. Identify where the mistake is. So failure is just a tool. For me, that's how it has always been. If I come across, if something happens in the process of doing a particular thing, and I find that I don't achieve the results I was expecting, I stop. I reevaluate, what I'm doing, and I ask myself, am I really doing what I'm supposed to be doing? Why isn't it working? Is there another way I can do it to get better results? So failure is a tool for me. So when I know why I want to do something, and I understand that so when I fail or I make a mistake, I understand that I'm getting feedback and I need to look at it and know how to move forward.
Thank you very, very much, Afyong. You've done justice to the topic, and like Afyong has reiterated over and over again, failure is not a destination, but it's a tool. It's for you to go back, reevaluate, understand your goal and why you want to achieve this or the particular thing you've set out to do. And was speaking to everyone out there. I know that one point or the other, you must have done something, maybe started a business and failed at it, and you feel like giving up, or you've written exams and you failed, and you didn't get the score you wanted, or you've applied for jobs and you got rejection mails, and we understand how depressing that can be, and you think you're a failure. And that's why we've come up with this topic, to encourage, to support, and throw more insight that failure is part of being human. And it is not actually, like Afshin has said, it is not a destination, but rather it is a process and a feedback mechanism for you to actually do better, evaluate yourself, and know how you can put the feedback into good use in the long run. Okay, so the last thing we're going to talk about, so I will allow my co-host give a word of encouragement to someone out there on how you think the person can overcome the feeling of failure and channel that energy into turning lemons into lemonade, that failure into success. So just one sentence of encouragement to everyone out there. Afyong, you go first.
Okay, I will say to everyone out there, anyone who is listening to us right now, I will say to you, don't be afraid to fail. Do not be afraid to fail, because that is the only way you grow. If you do not fail, it's like a child learning how to walk. The child doesn't start out running. They stumble, they fall, they get back up. Each time they fall, they learn not to walk a certain way. They learn to avoid certain places. They learn that if I slow down, or if I get to a certain place, I need to slow down. If you watch that process, you will know that any learning process, takes time. Be patient with yourself. Be kind to yourself. Know that is why you are learning. The fact that you are actually doing something shows that you're on the right track. You're learning. You understand that you need to know more. So when you fail, just see it as part of that learning. That, oh, okay, I'm not so good in this part. What do I need to do to improve here? Rather than seeing it as, seeing it as a reflection of who you are. Failure is not who you are. It just tells you how you can do better. It makes you think. It helps you increase your capacity. So please do not fear failure. In fact, the earlier you fail, the sooner you will get better.
True. Thank you very much, Afyong. Osaki?
All right, thank you very much. I'll tell you to the larger audience that failure is part of success. That failure is part of success. You can't really blank out failure. As you're progressing in life, just feel that's one of your, maybe part of the process. You write there, what if I fail? What happened? What next? So expect it. Don't really rule it out that it will not happen, because the shock and alternative measure will be there. As you're growing in life, see failure as part of success. See failure as comma, not full stop. Failure is comma in a sentence, means you have to move on. And failure honestly helps us to learn better. They'll tell you experience. What was that quotation said? That experience
is the best teacher.
Is the best teacher. But don't express only everything when it's the best teacher. Sometimes just hear it and know that it's the best teacher. Because if you experience it, you won't like it. So failure is like the best teacher for anybody that is trying to learn or trying to achieve a goal or a project or something. So just see failure as part of it. It's a success. It's not the last point or full stop or decision, but it's something that will just happen that keeps you going, and it helps us to learn better. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Osaki. And my final words to our beautiful viewers is that failure is part of life. It's part of being human. Even the greatest scientists failed before they finally had one trial and succeeded. Great businesswomen have failed at one point or the other. So failure is part of being a human being, and you can't take that away. It doesn't mean you are worse at it. It only simply means it's a feedback mechanism for you to do better, for you to improve, and for you to focus. Do not lose focus because you have failed at something. Instead, it's for you to strategize, look at what happened and how it can be fixed. Okay, thank you. Until we come your way, we've come to the end of today's episode, and I'm sure that our words have, in one way or the other, uplifted someone out there and given you the enthusiasm to be better, to do more, and then to succeed at what you have failed at presently. So until we come your way next week, Saturday, we still remain the bold, beautiful, outstanding ladies with disabilities. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank